Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Atomic Mass Games has finally unveiled the grand tournament locations and venues for the 2024 to 2025 season. I guess we're calling it the season, we've got all of the locations. I'm going to put a link to the page that has all of the information down in the video description below, but we're going to go over some of it in today's video. If you are new here to the channel, we talk a lot about Star Wars, tabletop gaming, and everything in between. So I'd love to have you stick around. Plus, we're doing a $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. You got about a week left to enter to win that. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. Have a chance to win that. I will announce winners usually at the end of my videos. So you got a couple more days to go until that. So there's plenty of time left to enter to win. Let's dive in to the good stuff. Basically, all 5 games have a grand tournament prize structure, and we're going to talk about some of those and some of the locations. And a lot of people are a little upset with some of the places that did not get approval. Some of the places that they kind of have nowhere to play, like all of California, for example, which is like a massive place. I don't believe there's a single place in California that got approved for a grand tournament. And we're going to kind of talk about the question of like, do they even matter from a certain point of view? And I think there's some pros and cons, but like basically my thought with that is that if you didn't get a grand tournament, there's nothing from stopping you from hosting a big old tournament in California or wherever you may be. Although the prize support is going to be different. But the reason that I don't think it matters as much is because a Worlds invite isn't tied to these grand tournaments. Whereas, larger high-level tournaments in the past may have had a Worlds invite attached to them. This time they don't. And while there is official prize support from Atomic Mass Games, it kind of stops there. So outside of some foils and stuff, maybe it's not that big of a deal. More on that in a little bit, because it might be a big deal for some, and I'm not trying to diminish it for those who are very interested in this. I think some of the prize support is actually pretty cool, and so I can definitely see both sides of it. But I think that there's more to it than just these are amazing tournaments, and if you didn't get one, haha, screw you, versus saying that these don't matter at all. I think the answer is somewhere in between. So let's go ahead and take a look at the tournament update. So I've got it pulled up here. We'll look at it behind me. This was put out last Friday, I think the 31st of May. We're going to talk about all the prize support, right? So all of these games have prize support. And in first place, for each one is going to give you a trophy. Legion's got some pretty cool prize support. So they've got play area bumper mats. Now, if you're not sure what a bumper mat is, basically it's kind of like a 6-inch by 6-foot roller, like a neoprene, like a mouse pad material thing that you kind of roll out, and it has spots for your cards and things like that. I use like 5th Trooper play area rollers in a lot of my Legion games. Those are nice for a number of reasons. A lot of play mats for Legion kind of double in many stores with like 40K play mats and stuff like that, especially if you're playing in a place that caters to multiple game types. So a lot of playmats are like 6x4 or other different sizes. And so having a roller, you can kind of roll it out over the mat, and it kind of marks off the 6x3 area. So it's really nice. Plus you can put your cards on stuff. Or if you're playing on it where they don't have any mat at all, in the card area, it allows you to put all your cards and stuff like that. So again, a lot of players of Magic and Star Wars Unlimited and Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all these games, a lot of times you always use like a little mouse pad or a play mat for your stuff. This is a play mat for basically all of your cards. And these rollers are cool. They're good for any game, but they're used a lot with Legion. Acrylic round counters, art prints, which that one's a little weird. Is that also for top 4? Okay. Then they have participation prizes, which according to this, it looks really cool because it looks like just for going, even if you don't make top 4, you're getting really cool stuff just for playing. And I think this is a big deal. A lot of other tournaments I've gone to, you usually always get something for participation, but you usually don't get quite this much. And I really like the participation prizes that they give out so much. You're getting multiple foil cards, which is really nice, and then you're getting dice, and the dice is a big deal. Like, dude, that's foil cards are cool. But dice are really where it's at. Dice are super cool. I love the dice because also these are dice that you can use. Like, and while yes, you can a lot of times some people like proxy their own cards and what have you. You can't just use your own dice. You have to use official dice because not all dice are created equal. Some dice have air bubbles in different places, and you might go to an Etsy shop that has great dice and they mean well, but they may be imperfect dice. And it's like one of those tournament things where you can't, the dogs will bark on you if you're using the wrong dice. So yeah, but using official prize support dice you can do. So that's a really cool thing. Shatterpoint, also trophy, a struggle tracker, range tools, art prints, and then participation. You're getting all of these foil order cards, which is really cool. And then there's 3 promo attack dice and 3 promo defense dice. X-Wing, lots of, again, a lot of the kind of same structure, a trophy, a template tray, and an acrylic tool set for top 4, which is really cool. Although I'm curious, and I haven't seen pictures yet because they just had the first one at the UK Games Expo, which was this past weekend, and I haven't seen the prize support for them yet. But these are always really fancy looking. And then for participation, again, lots of foil cards. I love it. And then the dice, you have less dice for the glitter specific, but you have still a lot, like 6 dice overall because there's promo red, promo green, and then the glitter green and glitter red, those are really cool ones. So I like glitter. I'm a big fan of glitter dice, I'll admit. I'm a sucker for glitter dice. Armada has a trophy, acrylic template set, and acrylic tool set for top 2 and top 4. And then for participation, lots of cards. Now these aren't foiled; these are, I guess, just regular. It says Imperial Star Destroyer. I don't know if that's what kind of Imperial Star Destroyer it is. I think we don't have a Simoon yet for Armada, but I'm guessing it's going to be like a 1 or a 2. But yeah, and I'm curious what kind of victory it is. There's certain things that I'm curious about because here they have Venator 1 and Venator 2 specified, but I'm curious about the other ones. But you're getting 2 black, 2 red, and 2 blue dice, which are very cool for Armada. Marvel Crisis Protocol says 2024 promo dice. That's either 2024 promo dice or you're actually getting 2024 promotional dice from that set. I don't think they're giving you that many because a lot of people are going to have to get back on the plane and fly back or drive home or whatever. Some people travel for these. I don't know if you're going to fly out to a GT. You might, depending on where you're at. Now, as far as locations, they are all listed here with links to stuff. There's a lot of Canadian tournaments, UK tournaments, got quite a few of them. US has quite a few, but not that many. European grand tournaments, there's a lot more European. There's, I think, more Europeans than anywhere else. Grand tournaments in other countries and some more. And then Australia and New Zealand are coming soon. So very interesting stuff. So now let's, one of the interesting things, I'm going back to it, I mentioned it earlier in the video, is that like California doesn't have any, like West Coast. I think Salt Lake City is the closest they have to West Coast. And so I can imagine it being a feels bad if you live in like LA or San Diego or something like that, and you're looking for, you're looking for a GT or a close by. You're just not going to find one anywhere close. And so it becomes the question: Do you fly out to one? Do you drive, make a long road trip out to one when there's no Worlds Invite on the line, and maybe the prestige isn't the same as it might have been from winning a Nationals or something like that, like it might have been before. So it's kind of like one of those questionable things. Now, I personally think that like the prestige of winning one is cool, but no less than the prestige of winning a tournament in your. So, for example, if you're in California and somebody decides to put on a really big, awesome tournament, and the prize support just happens to be different, because it won't have been an official GTO. I feel like there should be no less prestige for that. So to me, at the end of the day, to quote Will Schick, who says at the end of the day quite a bit, I don't think there's anything wrong with winning a tournament that's not, or attending or playing in a tournament that's not a GTO. I don't think a GTO really means all that much. Now, the prize support is cool, right? But I think it kind of stops there. I think the bigger thing, what makes a tournament great, is everything else. The people, first and foremost, the people you're playing against. Being able to go and play against great folks and be able to have community with people who share a love and an interest with you is awesome. And so any big and sizable tournament where you're going to be able to see people, maybe some people you haven't seen in a long time, maybe meet new people, maybe see some of your regulars. That's always a great time. That's one of the things that makes a good tournament. The venue, it's nice to have a nice place to play that has sufficient table space and things like that. Those are things that make for an excellent tournament. Prize support is definitely one of those things that can help out. I usually am not as crazy about the prize support. Usually I want to play for the sake of the game, for the sake of the community. And then in some cases, you know, if we're going to really be competitive, if something really cool is on the line, there have been two types of tournaments I've played in that I really cared about winning. One are like competitive events where there's a world's invite on the line. Those are ones that you certainly want to win. Some kind of really high-level tournament that there's big prestige in winning because it takes you to worlds or, you know, gets your name on the website or something like that. Like, that's kind of cool. The other type of tournament that I've really liked win is those early pre-release tournaments that Fantasy Flight used to do when a new wave of X-Wing or a new wave of Armada was coming out. And if you won, if you placed in the top 4, you know, you'd get one of the 4 expansions that were coming. I went to a couple of these. I did these for X-Wing and for Armada. And this was one of those things that those were my favorite tournaments because winning, you didn't just win, you know, like maybe a Star Destroyer. You won a Star Destroyer like 2 months before anybody else could get one. That was really cool. I remember I went to two isn't several. I went to 2 Armada pre-release tournaments, and I won a Mon Calamari home one and an Imperial Star Destroyer. One at one, one at another. And it was awesome. And so I was able to also play with people and be like, hey, I'll play the Rebels with the new ship. You can play the Empire with the new ship, and then vice versa. And so we got to, you know, having 2 new ships was a big deal, being able to play those so much earlier. That also turned around and led to a big feels bad because there was a big drop off between, for those who've been playing Armada for a long time, there was a long wait before when that wave 2 with the Star Destroyers and stuff came out before the next wave. It was a long time. And so it was like 2 months longer for me than everybody else because I already had some of the new stuff that much earlier. So, but yeah, it was a really, really good time. I love tournaments for stuff like that gives you like new product early. That's like some of the best prize support there's ever been. So I would love to see stuff like that happen in the future. But outside of that stuff, just the prestige of winning one of these, I don't think is necessarily better than winning any other tournament that happens to have a lot of people show up. It's about beating the competition, not about winning the event that AMG gave prize support to. Although that prize support is pretty cool. So I can see both sides. I want to hear from you guys, though. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Again, I'll put a link to this in the video description, and you can check out and see if there's one in your area. And if there's not, I wouldn't feel too bad. I think if there's not, then try to get one going. Try to get another big tournament going. You know, nothing's stopping you. And I think that people would love to see it. You know, I'd love to get into a big tournament. You know, and come up with, you know, some other prize support. I mean, you know, there's lots of tournaments that happen all the time that aren't necessarily AMG sanctioned tournaments, whether it's at a store or at some kind of convention. There's lots of different ways to do it. And that's about all I have to say about that. I want to hear from you guys, so let me know what you think down in the comments below. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing. The spice must flow. So say we all. And always wash your socks. See ya.